The Inner Circle was successful at Stadium Stampede. They are going to stay together. But what is next for the group? Hello, everybody. Welcome to WrestleScope TV. This is John. It is the Sunday night edition. And we ask the question of what is next for the Inner Circle. They had a fantastic promo this past Friday night on AEW Dynamite, as to be expected, because every time they have a promo, it's fantastic. And Chris Jericho has always been one of the best promos in the business. But you have to ask, now that they've said this war is not over, and we've seen blood and guts, we've seen Stadium Stampede, and Chris Jericho has essentially said it ain't over until he ends MJF. What is next for the Inner Circle? Will they put their focus on anyone else? Or will they continue to focus in just on the Pinnacle? What else can they do in this feud? Because really, you're kind of working backwards here, and that's been the complaint of a lot of people is, why wouldn't you end with blood and guts? Why wouldn't you end with Stadium Stampede? Why do you start with that? And obviously, the end point is MJF overcoming Chris Jericho. You'd have to think, the 25-year-old taking out the 25-year veteran, the 20-plus year veteran in Chris Jericho, you'd have to think that that would be the end game. But is it? Yes, you can have some fantastic tag team matches. Obviously, Santana and Ortiz versus FTR. You can have some incredible big hoss matches. We've already seen teases of it between Jake Hager and Wardlow. And Jake Hager called out Wardlow saying he wants an MMA-style fight with him. Okay, I'll pay for that. I don't know how much more of Sammy Guevara versus Shawn Spears I want to see. But Sammy and MJF, absolutely. I'd love to see that. I think those two could put on just an absolutely phenomenal match. But what is left for them? What else can be done? Chris Jericho, being the creative mind that he is, I'm sure along with Tony Khan, probably have things planned out for the next 3 to 6 months already. They know what they want to do. We as viewers, we as fans of AEW just don't know yet. And it doesn't need to be anything that's on weekly TV. Obviously, maybe this coming week, this will be the week that we get to hear from MJF and the Pinnacle. Or we don't see them for a couple of weeks. That's actually what I'd like to see is Pinnacle is off of TV for 2 to 3 weeks. Maybe after we've seen the Inner Circle this last week, we don't see them for a couple of weeks. There's plenty of other things that could fill AEW television right now, where you do not need the same things over and over every single week. That's what really differentiates AEW from WWE. WWE just keeps throwing the same things down our throat every single week. Whereas AEW, for the most part, doesn't. They've got a deep enough talent pool that, they could do something one week and not have that person the next week. Look at what the main event on Dynamite was this last week. You had the natural Dustin Rhodes taking on Nick Comoroto in a bull rope match. Should that have been the main event? I don't know, maybe not, but it was something different. We saw a little bit of Kenny Omega. Yeah, we did end up seeing the Young Bucks. We didn't see Jon Moxley. We did see a little bit of Eddie Kingston. They extend storylines, but they don't drive the same things down our throats. So that's why I'm thinking something as huge as Pinnacle and Inner Circle, especially after what they just came off of, Pinnacle should be off of TV for a couple of weeks. Though, it was Shawn Spears that ended up taking the pinfall loss, not MJF, not Wardlow, not FTR. But, maybe you have them come back this week. And then for a little while, maybe you have them involved in some other things. It doesn't always have to be Inner Circle versus Pinnacle. Yes, they're tied in. That's where the blood feud is. But have them get involved in some other things. Let them trickle around and get in some other stuff. Maybe you have Santana and Ortiz go after the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks do need some more challengers. Why not? You could have FTR go after the titles. You could have heel versus heel and Inner Circle do something to cause them to lose. I would continue to do that where each of these groups, because if you think about it, Inner Circle is not a babyface group. Yes, they're getting cheered, but they're not a babyface group. They're more like that Stone Cold Steve Austin anti-hero type group that you expect heelish things out of them still. You have them get involved in different matches. Maybe you have, the thing is, you've got heels. That's a problem that AEW is running into right now. All of their titles are held by heels. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Miro. Though Miro's kind of that, he's on the bubble, and Britt Baker. So what do you do with the heels? Do you have them go after titles or not? Do they create another title? Obviously, the talks of the Trios title, which should be coming around, that's something that definitely Pinnacle and Inner Circle can get involved in as well. And I'm excited for the prospect of that, especially with Rampage coming. AEW's got enough airtime and they've got enough talent to be able to pull this off if they continue to do things the right way with storylines. But again, I sit here and question and wonder, what are they going to do next? And really, I should have the title of what is next for Inner Circle and the Pinnacle, not just Inner Circle. Where are they going to go? I don't know. I really would not be surprised if we saw something new. You can't have a 5v5 again anytime soon, unless you go, do you go Survivor Series style match? Because, again, we've already gone Blood and Guts, their version of War Games, so you can't do that. They did the Stadium Stampede. Maybe you do a 10-man tag. Maybe it is a traditional elimination style match, with some sort of a twist. But what else is there? I mean, eventually it is going to come down to that one-on-one Jericho MJF, no involvement from anybody else match, where it's just those two guys, and that's kind of the end-all be-all. But that would be Double or Nothing next year, or maybe a Revolution. That's got to be into 2022. But what is going to be next? I don't know. I really don't at this point. Do you have ideas? Do you have suggestions? Leave them in the comments here on Facebook, on Twitch, and on YouTube. I will be responding to all of them over the next, whenever they pop up. Give me your thoughts. What do you think is next for the Inner Circle? What direction should they go? Should maybe Sammy Guevara go after the TNT title? Would you like to see Jake Hager go after Miro? Heck yeah. Give me Jake Hager and Miro. I'd love to see that match. Again, Santana and Ortiz go after the Young Bucks. Maybe, just maybe, Chris Jericho goes after Omega. That would be a big money match. And you have MJF cost Jericho that match. It would help solidify Kenny Omega as the mega heel champion. It would help solidify MJF as the biggest bad guy in the company. And we already know Jericho can put on a great match with Kenny Omega. You've got to do that one. If not at All Out, you do it at Full Gear in November. But give Jericho a shot again at the title. I think that would be I know there's other contenders out there. I know there's other people, but if it's a way to extend on the Inner Circle Pinnacle storyline and you get Omega involved somehow, why not? Why not do it? It doesn't need to be on Dynamite, though. That would be that's one of those, that's a huge ratings get for Dynamite if you do that. If you give them the last half hour of a show, have that as the main event, that could be on the levels of Goldberg versus Hogan in the Georgia Dome on Nitro, where they gave it away for free on free TV, which was a huge mistake on the part of WCW back in the day. But AEW, they don't need to hold that for pay-per-view. That would be a huge ratings get. That would be that match that could help them hit that 1.5 million mark in viewers on a Wednesday night. Jericho versus Omega for the AEW championship. Give it to me. Heck yeah. And let me address something here real quick before I get out of here, since we're talking about ratings. There have been a lot of people on Twitter talking about how bad the viewership ratings of AEW have been the last 2 weeks since they've been on Friday nights. Now, I am not an AEW apologist. I am an equal fan of AEW and WWE. I call out WWE when they screw up on their ratings, and I don't make excuses for anybody. But just take a look at it rationally. You move your A show for AEW from Wednesday night primetime, 8 p.m. Eastern, to Friday night, 11 p.m. Eastern. And now, you've got warmer weather outside across the United States. People are doing other things. Yes, viewership is going to go down. It's just common sense. You take it out of a midweek prime time and put it late night on Friday night. I don't care what show you do. You take anything, any popular show that averages between 700,000 and 1 million viewers on a Wednesday night prime time and move it to Friday night late night. Yeah, it's going to lose viewers. If they did that to Raw, if they stuck Raw on Friday night at 11 p.m., I guarantee you they would lose a couple 100,000 viewers, at least live. That's just the way it is. And the people that are comparing, well, it's on right after SmackDown with no competition. First of all, SmackDown is on an over-the-air free TV network that has access to every home in the United States. You move SmackDown to cable, they're not going to be drawing 1.8 million a week. They will be drawing between 1.2 and 1.5. But they are on over-the-air broadcast free television. It's a little bit different, okay? Again, I'm not making excuses for AEW. I think if these last couple of Dynamites were back on Wednesday night at 8 p.m., their numbers, they would have been in the 900,000 million range again. But because they are on at such a later off time, I've had so many people jumping on my back on Twitter. Oh, you're just making excuses. No, it's just common freaking sense, okay? Again, I am not an AEW apologist. I jumped on the AEW fan train late. If anything, I've been more of a WWE apologist than anything else. I don't make excuses for anybody. I'll say this right now. I think, it's out of their control, but I think AEW could be in trouble with being off of their regular time slot for 4 weeks in a row. It'll be the first week of July before they're back on Wednesday nights again. It's either 3 or 4 consecutive weeks of Fridays, and then they're doing a Saturday night. The Saturday night, I wouldn't be surprised if they did 500,000 viewers there. And all the naysayers are going to be doing is, oh, well, see, look, they're not that great of a show. They're only drawing 500,000 people. They're down. Shut up. Please, just shut up. No excuses. It's just common sense. But then again, common sense is lacking in our culture right now, isn't it? And I'm not talking wrestling. I'm talking so many other things. And I'm not going to get into political or social issues because that's just not what I do on this channel. This is supposed to be a fun wrestling channel. We have a good time with it. So before I start going off on a tangent on anything else, I am going to just leave you on that. I do want to talk about one last thing here. Kylie Ray. Exciting news for her. She has officially signed a deal with NWA. Fightful Select has reported they've got details on it. NWA announced on their pay-per-view today that Kylie Ray had signed a deal with the company. There was a lot of surprised people because they thought she was still under contract with Impact, even though she quote-unquote retired late last year. Fightful had reached out to Impact on Wednesday but hadn't heard anything back. Many of the members of the Impact roster, they were surprised by the news. They weren't aware that a deal was being made, and they spoke no ill will of Kylie Ray. They just kind of expected her to be back, since she announced she just appeared last night, Saturday night in Chicago. She was at a show in Chicago, and then she was in the tag team match today on NWA's pay-per-view. And now she's officially part of the NWA roster, which I find interesting. I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she's back and, doing what she loves to do. So that's interesting. And that's exciting. So that's all I've got for tonight. I'm really kind of hoping for a quiet week in wrestling. This has been kind of a weird, wacky week this week with, releases and news about SummerSlam and so many other things. Hopefully we could get back to just speculating things this week, but we shall see. I have no idea what to expect out of Raw this coming week. My expectations are not that high right now. I still owe all of you I want to do some fantasy booking stuff on here. I want to do fantasy booking. I got to figure out how to do really cool graphics and everything for it. But give me your suggestions too of what you would like to see me do fantasy booking on. I've got an idea of one for sure that I want to do. I'm not sure what else. But hit me up in the comments. Again, give me your thoughts on what you think is next for the Inner Circle, what they can do over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months. Thoughts on Kylie Ray, and thoughts on what you would like to see fantasy booking on. Have a great night, everybody. As always, please give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bells here on Twitch and on YouTube so you can know every time that we'll be on with something new. And if you're on Facebook, please give us a like to the brand new Facebook page as well. And also, don't forget about all of our social media, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Easiest thing to do is to click on the bio wherever you may be watching this, and you can see my link tree. And that way you can find out all of the different social media we're on. You can see the Amazon wish list, see Patreon. I haven't done anything on Patreon in a while. I got to start writing some stuff for on there. Still don't, everything on Patreon is free still right now. I'm going to keep that going for a while. That's where I'm going to be writing up different opinion pieces and whatever else. That will all be on Patreon and will be free to everybody. I don't know if you could just go and subscribe without anything else. I got to figure that out, but you can at least save it on your browser, whatever you may be looking on, and that way you can see what I'm posting over there as well. Have a great night, everybody. We will talk to you tomorrow. And, of course, we are in the midst of the 365 days of WrestleScope. This would be day number, I've lost track, 30, 60, 61, day number 67. I think that's right. I think my numbers are right. I got to get a board up here. That might be the next project as I'm still reorganizing everything, is getting the count board going of what day we are in. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Don't waste your money on Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. It's going to be a joke. Have a good night.